Hello everybody, Patrick Nichols here, and I have another really epic car to share with you today. I'm just outside of St. Louis, Missouri, here in a subdivision, and I have found a red 1970 Chevelle LS6 that's been parked since the early 80s and is now been moved. It's been moved 2 or 3 times, but it's now in its resting spot, its location, its new home, and I'm here to document the car, and I'm sure you guys are very interested in this car. A Cranberry Red LS6 Chevelle inside of this garage here in a subdivision, a place you would never really expect an old barn find LS6 Chevelle to be, but it definitely is. And as you can see, it's originally cranberry red, original paint for the most part. The original engine to the car is over there in the floor, which I will discuss that later. It has a small block engine in it now. The owner explained to me that he had to use the car for transportation, of course, like the cars were meant for back 35 years ago. So he replaced it with a small block engine. So now I'll do a total walk around video of this car. This car has 2 build sheets. It's a Kansas City, Missouri built car, which pretty much makes sense being in St. Louis, Missouri, or just outside of it. So here we go. Now you can see the car is in unrestored state. You see the small block Chevy that's in now, and of course the metal inner fenders still are in the car. This is a 331 ratio car, so it will not have the heavy duty cooling radiator support, which is correct. You can see it still has the AZ engine tune label, which is in box 104 on the build sheet, which is LS6. You can see the AZ code right there, and then I'll pan over and you can still basically read the 454 CU, and then where it said 450 horsepower is kind of scratched, but the AZ code is your money shot there. That proves that code, or that document, or that label, engine tune label, which is in box 104. And it appears to have the original BB master cylinder and power brake booster. One really cool option that's still on this car, which we've discussed before, is the original 7-blade fan. Now there's 2 versions of these fans, and it's known as the 064 fan, and it has 2 dates. The biggest one is the M of 69, so M would be December 69, and were made in large batches. So the second time they made another batch of that particular fan was not until May of 70. So the M of 69 will fit all of LS6 cars up until roughly May, the first or 2 weeks of May, and then you can use the other fans. So that's why the M of 69 date is so sought after, is because there's only 2 correct dates to this fan, and you can see M69, and then, as you know, we always refer to these part numbers by the last 3. So this is referred to as the 064 fan. Extremely hard to find fan with the most sought after date, M69. Really cool fan. LS6 only. There was another version that was made, and it was an undated version, and it had impressions that were in the fan blade, whereas this has a flat fan blade, and the attachment points were different. They were pointed. But that's the 064. That's the one in the market, say eBay or the swap meet market. That's the one that everybody looks for, because it fits the most cars from December all the way up to May. Now, let's discuss the cow tag. Again, this is a Kansas City, Missouri car. And you can see 713637, 2-door hardtop, KAN, Kansas City, Missouri Assembly Plant. 873010818 is the body number. 756, of course, black bucket seat interior, really popular. And then, of course, 75 upper, lower, and 75 upper is the paint, which is the really popular cranberry red and then 03C for the 3rd week of March. And then these other figures are data processing numbers that will be on the build sheet as well. And then the infamous L that most believe signifies super sport equipment. Really nice car. And I will touch on the hood a little bit, as we have before, of where the paint stripes, the original paint, where the stripes, the stencil met the freehand. And that's one way of determining. You can see where the tape met on the stripes when they come down the assembly line. And this is the early version hood, which we spoke about before, which is also correct, with the small insulation, and the cowl induction ring is smooth. There's another determining factor to identify that particular early 70 Chevelle hood. One more characteristic is the Kansas City location of the hood pin lanyards, which is right there, and that is correct, and the screws are still there. Really neat car. Cranberry Red LS6, 4-speed, tack and gauges, and 331. I will open the car door now and do my best to show you the interior of this car. Again, as we've been over before, high performance LS6s and L78 have the high 6500 redline tack, which is correct for this car, and it's still present. You see the disc brakes and the clutch. The carpeting has been removed. The car came with an AM radio, bucket seats, standard seat belts, and of course the Malibu that are in the door panels, which is because of the M22 option being left out on the Z15 454 option. And I will go around the rest of the car and do my best to show you exactly what is here. This is what people want to see. These cars have been parked this long, and a Cranberry Red LS6 is, in my opinion, the most epic muscle car there is. There's nothing that can top it. So really, really interesting car. So we have some parts here we go over. That's the correct 291 AB pulley. It has a part number on it that says that. I don't know if I can focus in on that. That is high performance. This is the 060 AP pulley, which is on the build sheet as well. I don't know if I can focus in on that as well. That is the correct high performance pulley. Its original flywheel and a host of other parts is still present. And here on the floor is the original engine. And the VIN stamp, if we can focus the best that I can. And you can see 0305 CRV, which is March the 5th, and then the correct upside down VIN stamp, which is correct for a Kansas City, Missouri assembled car. Whereas in Atlanta it would be smaller font and be right side up, but you see it's 010K, 1 for Chevrolet Motor Division, 0 for 1970, K for Kansas City, Missouri, and then 182227 is the last 6 of the VIN on this car. The car is numbers matching with build sheet, 90% original paint, all original body panels, parked since roughly about mid-80s. And you can see the original positive traction decal and the jacking instructions. Really neat car. And I will back up now and let you see the passenger side really well. And now go into the passenger side of the interior. And you can see the cowl induction ring and seal is in the back seat. Car has been cut for 2 speakers, which car did not show that it has 2 speakers with the AM radio, which would not be correct. And the door panels seem to be in very nice shape. Now I will now pan over here to some documents which prove the authenticity of this car. The build sheet and the protecto plate. Now, you can see the 0318, March the 18th, the 182227, there's the BK873081, which is the body number which we saw. You see the AZ in box 104 for the engine tune label. And then there's your options: tinted glass, straddle bucket seats, floor mats, wheelhouse opening moldings, you know, the host of options. The 331 ratio posi, which would be the RV code, which would be right there, axle, RV. And then you see the LS6, the M22, and the rest of the options. Also here I have the original carb, which is the correct list number 4557. And it is dated to this car, if you can focus. You can see right there, 014, 0 for 1970, 1 for January, and 4 for 4th week. So we've been over this before. The first digit is the year, the second digit is the month. It went 1 through 0, 0 being October. November would be A, and December would be B, and then the week. So that's 1970, January, 4th week. GG, and it also has the correct metering blocks, which would be the 4519 and the 6328. You can see 6328 right there, and 4519 is the correct metering block for the rear. A really survivor, nice carburetor, original carburetor to the car. And let's look at the protecto plate, which is upside down. Turn it around. Okay, you can see the T0305 RV, which we just saw on the engine. That is correct. The top number is the VIN, and then below that is the rear axle, which is 1212, which would be December the 12th, Buffalo, New York. And below that are your options, the 11 to 33. And the P is Muncie, 0 for 1970, B for February, 16 for February the 16th. And then of course on the transmission would have a C, which signifies M22. A would be M20, B would be M21, and C, M22. And I'll go around this car one more time. Again, it's been parked since the early to mid 1980s. Cranberry Red 70 Chevelle LS6 4-speed, mostly all original paint. Generally, most all of the parts are still here to this car. The fan, the pulleys, the engine, the heads, the intake, carburetor, host of parts is still here with this car. So this is definitely a car that all my viewers are really interested in. This is a find. As far as I know, the general population, even in the Chevelle circles, are not many people are aware of this car. And you can see at some point somebody decided they wanted to put a lock to lock the hood down, evidently. It does wear all of its battle scars. That's the way I like to find them, as untouched as possible. And I will go, like I said, I'll go around the car one more time, and the GM, manufactured by GM decal is still in the door. And you can see 136370K, 182, 227. And the date, I cannot read. It is too worn. You see one more time the black bucket seat interior with the correct tack engages. And the provision for the tack is of course correct in the firewall. But when you have a car that has 2 build sheets and the protecto plate, it makes everything easy because there's no guesswork at that point. You know exactly how it was built, and everything about the car is right in front of you on the build sheet. Now, you don't have to do a lot of investigating when you have the documents. But this car shows up just exactly like it shows on the build sheet. It just doesn't get much better than a Cranberry Red 70 Chevelle LS6. This is it. You're looking at it. I've been around it 2 times for you, and I hope you have enjoyed this video. I'm Patrick Glenn Nichols from Patrick Glenn Nichols Musclecar Barn Finds. You can follow me on Facebook or YouTube. If you have or need assistance with your 70 Chevelle authenticating, you can reach out to me at pnichols26 at Yahoo or message me on Facebook and YouTube. More videos on the way. Thanks for watching.